We are so excited to have you here today. I apologize for the wait. The panelists are on their way, just experiencing a little bit of connection issues, but they're on their way. They'll be here soon. For those that are already tuned in, you're most welcome. Thank you very much for giving us your time this afternoon. We can't wait for you to hear what we have in store. Welcome very much, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is our July episode of the Family Dialogue. And on behalf of ICON, I would really once again love to thank you for choosing to join us today. My name is Jemima Wabamuno, and I'm the current Communications Associate for ICON Enterprise Foundation, as well as your moderator for the day. Before we start, for the people that are in the Zoom, everyone should be muted. However, if I did not manage to get anyone's microphone, please, out of due diligence, mute it yourself, as well as video.
Network away. Okay.
Welcome to Nigeria.
Hello, Jamie. Hello.
I'm going to go ahead.
Come on. I'm already there.
All right, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Jemima.
Hi, Teacher Joari, we can hear you. So for the time being, everyone is going to be muted. Also a special Eid al-Adha Mubarak to you today, and everybody else joining us that is celebrating as well. We are waiting for just a few more panelists, and then we shall be well on our way to start. All right. Once again, for those that have just joined us right now, you're most welcome. For those who have just joined us, on behalf of ICON, I'd love to thank you once again for choosing to join us today. My name is Jemima Wabamunno, the current communications associate for ICON Enterprise Foundation, as well as your moderator today. If you've just joined us and you're not quite sure what's going on, some of our panelists are running a little bit late, as well as facing some technical difficulties, but they shall be with us shortly. However, in the time being, I would love to recognize the panelists that are with us. I would love to welcome teacher Joeria Naiga. I don't know if she can hear us. If she can hear us, I would love to hear her come in and say a word. We have Dr. Rogers Matama with us here today as well. And we have Brenda Nyakasiki. Right. So those are the panelists that are with us today. For those that don't already know, this is the July Family Dialogue that is centered specifically around family financial health, teaches us families in a COVID-19 world. Okay, and so let's see. Yes, Brenda, can you hear us? Feel free to unmute your mic, say hello to the people since you're here with us.
Hello.
Hello, Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Jimmy. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We're so happy to have you here. We can't wait to hear from you.
It's my pleasure as
Pleasure
well.
of ours. All right. Okay, so we have Dr. Matama here as well. Dr. Matama, please unmute your mic really shortly. Say hello, say a word, let the people know that you're there. They're eager to hear from you, I'm sure, as I am. So if you can hear us, please feel free. And I believe Teacher Joaria will be with us as well shortly. We are expecting 2 more, and then we shall be well on our way.
That is what we did. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stuart Ruama, you're most welcome. There's one more of our panelists having joined us this afternoon. We can hear you and see you. You're most welcome.
The charge, get your charge.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and mute you in the time being. And this applies for everyone within this Zoom. If I did not manage to mute everyone upon them coming in, please, out of due diligence and respect for the panelists and whoever's speaking, mute your mic just to enable them to be able to speak and present uninterrupted for the rest of the event. All right. I believe all of our panelists are in for today. I am so excited. Welcome everybody who's just joined us. Once again, welcome all the panelists that are going to be speaking with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the July episode of the Family Dialogue. And on behalf of ICON, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for choosing to join us today. For those that haven't already heard me introduce myself, my name is Jemima Wabamuno. I'm the current communications associate for ICON Enterprise Foundation, as well as the moderator today. Before we start, for those that have just entered the Zoom, please, if I did not manage to catch you on your way in and mute your mic for you, out of due diligence and respect for the panelists, please go ahead and mute your mic until the discussion session that will happen in the last 20 to 30 minutes. And as well as remove your video just so you're not distracting anyone that is speaking and to avoid any interruptions. But otherwise, very, very, very happy to have everybody in, not just on the Zoom, everybody on Facebook, you're most welcome. I'm so happy that you are here with us today and I can't wait to have you guys have the panelists share with us what they have, as well as you guys to ask your questions today. If you're streaming in from Facebook, please send in your comments during the discussion session. All your comments and questions will be answered from there as well. Please utilize the chat and be interactive. Do not be shy. As I mentioned earlier, our title for this series is The Family Financial Health, Teachers as Families in a COVID-19 World, hosted by ICON Enterprise Foundation. ICON is a Ugandan nonprofit organization committed to the pivotal role the family plays in fostering social cohesion and harmony, building children and people's innate leadership capabilities, and equipping them with key life skills required to be both productive and engaged citizens. The purpose of the panel today is to be able to provide teachers and parents alike and other family stakeholders to have an opportunity to reflect on the status of teachers as families and generate recommendations for addressing their challenges. So the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the well-being and the family financial health in particular in many unprecedented ways. This month's dialogue is dedicated to teachers' families, very quintessential people in our communities, because the abrupt closure of schools in March greatly impacted not just the financial stability of schools, but in turn affecting their employees, such as teachers and non-teaching staff alike. So today on our panel, we have one of the most interesting people, I believe, that we could possibly have. He is a teacher, but more so, he is a leader, specifically in the educational institution, and also someone who is dedicated to empowering other teachers alike, because it is not easy during this time, and he's dedicated his time not only to uplifting them, but finding alternative means of survival. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Entebbe Municipality Private Teachers Initiative was founded in order to bring teachers together in this pandemic. However, it was later changed into what is known as the Initiative for Teachers as Advocacy, in order not to limit the area of jurisdiction only to Entebbe Municipality or to private school teachers. Currently at approximately 175 members, its prime objective is to ensure that teachers can have a side business to support families and also supplement their salaries. Joining us today is not only the chairperson, but the founder of the Initiative for Teachers as Advocacy, a professional teacher from Makerere University, the former Guild Representative Councillor, a Minister of Culture and Mobilization in the 82nd Guild. Mr. Stuart Luwama has taught at Promise High School, Entebbe Chigungu School, Chitende Secondary School, Entebbe Senior Secondary School, Entebbe Central School, wow, and is now the head teacher of Victorian High School. Please help me welcome Mr. Stuart Luwama. Mr. Stuart Luwama, if you can hear me, you're welcome to unmute yourself and share with us today your stories. Let's see. I don't believe he can hear us. Let's see. Right? I believe Mr. Stuart Luwama's audio is giving him a bit of trouble. Go ahead and unmute him. Right? Okay. So while he is figuring out his audio, suppose, okay. While he's figuring out his audio, let us welcome, okay, I believe he's here. Mr. Luwama, can you hear us? All right. Okay, Mr. Luwama, if you can hear us, please feel free to unmute your mic. In the meantime, if he's unable to connect his audio, we can always hand over to the next panelist on his behalf, and he'll be able to share with us later on. Okay. Right, as Mr. Luwama joins us, I will go ahead and introduce other panelists as well. All right, so as Mr. Luwama is coming and joining us soon, I suppose we'll just move on to the next panelist. All of them have amazing stories, so there's nothing to miss out on. Our next panelist after Mr. Luwama and someone who can open this discussion for us is a teacher herself, Teacher Joaria Naiga. She is a mother of 3 and a teacher, of course, by profession, working at Mother Care Preparatory School, turned now entrepreneur. She is very family oriented. She loves her friends who are her teachers, her fellow teachers and colleagues, and she enjoys swimming. She enjoys traveling, which she has done today clearly for Eid. So happy that she's able to join us here even on such an auspicious occasion. And she loves spending time with God through prayer. All right, so Teacher Joaria is free to join us, but I can see Mr. Luwama is back with us, and I wouldn't want to take his spotlight away. All right, Mr. Luwama, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Luwama.
Oh, yes, Jemima.
You're most welcome. All right. So because we had lost you for a minute there, I had already done your introduction, but for those that have just come in and joined us and people that are obviously very eager to hear from you, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you and your story and the work that you do over there in Entebbe.
Okay, thank you, Jemima.
You're most welcome.
My apologies for, and it's not typical of me to always, but as you know, internet issues and connectivity had played me not so good. But I'm so honored and I'm humbled to be part of this platform and to be part of this conversation today. Thank you for such a wonderful initiative and for the consideration of numerous of teachers around the globe, but you invited me to be one of the few who are going to be here to share my stories. I don't take it lightly. So Stuart Luwama is my name. I'm a teacher by profession. I teach at Victorian High School, where I also double as the head teacher. I've taught in a number of schools, Promise High School, Chitendeses, Entebbe Central, Entebbe. I carry a lot of experience, but I wouldn't take much of your time. I would want to take you straight through my story and how have managed to spend life during this pandemic. You know, when they locked the schools, we were faced with a life of uncertainty because the issue was in April, maybe 27th to open. And then we had a postponement of 6th June, which again we had an indefinite suspension. And as of news now going around, we expect maybe in September that schools might be opened. But that makes it around 5 months now already. We are home. People were feeding from the students and the schools have been home. What we did, some of us decided not to just sit home and do anything, because even as a responsibility of a head teacher, you find that it is very hard for you to even explain to your fellow teachers on what is going on. And you know very well that, especially in private schools, our source of income is the students. So you find that because these students are no longer at school, therefore we no longer have a stable means of income that can generate income for us and the teachers around. And in so doing, it makes it really difficult for us to sustain the teachers, first of all, to sustain even the schools, and also to take care of ourselves. But what we did, like me, for example, before the lockdown had come in, I had a plan of opening up a chapati stall. Before, it was a bigger idea. It was not only a chapati stall, but I wanted to begin a takeaway where we can have fast foods and others. So when the lockdown came in, after spending almost 1 week home and nothing was going on, I embarked on the process of opening it up. That is how we have been trying to see that we survive, me and my family. And I had also got my two boys who were my former students, by the way, and they also passed very well. They were former senior sixes. One is called Wamakare David, and he got 16 points. Ngaruhi. I promised them I will begin up something for you to do when you are done with education. So we began, the three of us, and we opened it up. And when the lockdown then came in and they locked us, we were now stranded. But when they opened the food and the eatables, at least we came. But again, the business wasn't moving so very well. So basically, for me, I have put my time into my business of chapati. But after seeing that I was not only the only person suffering, and my teachers were calling me day in, day out, I decided to form what was known as the Entebbe Private Teachers Initiative. Under that initiative, we were coming together as schools in private sector, and these schools were both primary and secondary. So what we did, we came, I first contacted all head teachers and I moved around looking at least for signatures. And my idea was simply that how can we get maybe people who can come in and come to our rescue. Unfortunately, it was not an easy task because it involved moving the in, the out, because I knew whoever would go to seek for help, they would always ask, who are you? Where are the teachers? What shows that these teachers are part of you? So from that, we formed what we call the Entebbe Private Teachers Initiative, and it is from that that we came into connection with IJA, Entebbe Journalists Association, who accepted to air our story. And I got three teachers. One was me to share my experience at my chapati stall. Another one was called Barasa Alfred, a teacher at Tom and Jerry. He also accepted to share his story. He's a father of 5, by the way, staying with his children at home, and rent is ensuing like nothing. So we joined hands, and we also had Madam Nandala Edith, who was selling sugarcane alongside the road. I think it is from there that the whole nation got to see our story from the news that was aired almost on all TVs and radio stations. And from that, we got some people from the Uganda Teachers Cooperatives and Saving Union. So they came in and they gave a grant to our initiative, and we decided to not limit it only to Entebbe, but we make it at least initiative for teachers advocacy. So I'm the current chairperson of the same initiative. And as of now, we have over 175 teachers inclusive. And we have tried to encourage them because nobody to our rescue, because nobody really can feed you today, tomorrow, and the other day. So what we need is someone to start up a business. So we have tried to set up businesses, and basing on my story of really at first had problems. How can a head teacher, a teacher be in chapatis? At first, by the way, even me, I had issues, but now I'm proud of the fact that very many teachers got inspired, and after this, that inspiration, many have decided to also come up and do something. So we have decided to start up those businesses, and these teachers are willing, as long as you will remain in the teaching profession, but you also have something to supplement your salary. So basically, that is how I've spent these months, because it is hard, and it is, by the way, going to be very hard for schools to open up with the guidelines of COVID-19. It is going to be very hard for us to put them into practice. So I don't know what else can I tell you, Madam Jemima, but basically that is part of my story. In case you have questions, I would also welcome them, but I wouldn't want to take a lot of time.
Of course I do. Wow, that sounds like amazing work that you're doing with all these teachers. We really need people to rise up from the communities, different communities, of course, and empower their fellow colleagues. Of course, you're in a different position right now. You are also the headmaster of Victorian High School. So everybody within that environment also looks to you for guidance, especially during this period where everything is uncertain. And, you know, as the leader of this, of the school, of course, and therefore this coalition that you formed, I would like to know how is it working so far? I know you had a specific vision in mind when you started, and how close to that vision are you?
Madam Jemima, please, I request that you repeat for me. My network had gone off. You had said I'm the head teacher. How is it?
Yes.
Please, can you repeat for me?
Okay. As the head teacher of the Victorian school, I'd like to know, and obviously the founder of,
Okay.
of your coalition that you've made, how close you initially intended for it to be?
Okay, at first, by the way, we wanted to create awareness in the sense that people can understand the stories behind our living, and as we teachers are living a life that does not really define our profession. At first, it was to call for sympathy, by the way, to call for people who can come in. But I tell you, it did not pay off that way. Even the Uganda Teachers Cooperatives and Saving Union, when they came in, they were like, they are coming in not because they're feeling sorry for us, but because they have seen teachers who are doing something. So from then, after that interface with Madam Wasimwe Joan, we had a shift. We had a shift in what we are doing. Now we decided to see that at least how can we find ourselves surviving? Because nobody can feed you today and tomorrow and the other time. So when they gave us 5 million as a grant, when they gave us those 5 million as a grant, they told us that we want you to start small, start up some small businesses. Like you have a chapati stall, this one has a sugarcane stall. The other one, we had also Mr. Dia who was making bricks. How can we see also other teachers also starting up some businesses? So when I brought my teachers, because at first we wanted to get posho, to get maybe beans, to get maybe someone who can give us rice, but that changed our dimension and the way we saw things. And we decided also to embark on the policy of starting up small businesses, even for our teachers. And I tell you, from that money they gave us, without keeping it maybe, or investing, let everybody come up also. We divided ourselves in groups of five men. We shared at least each group to get something that can start it up. As a group, they can, in the group of 5, they can begin up at least like a business. Those who could fail to understand or one idea of a business, we at least recommended everybody, as long as you take the money, make sure that you use it for something small. So basically, that is how we have gone. And I tell you, teachers have gone forth, and the people of the Rex Initiative
Oh, Mr. Luana. All right. I believe we've lost Mr. Luana for a moment there. As he mentioned, his internet is having troubles. Ooh, you're back.
Jemima.
Yes, sir. We can hear you now. You only cut out for
Can
about
you
a
get
moment.
me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we
hello.
can.
Can you get me, please? Yeah,
Yes,
we also
we can.
had members from the Rolex Initiative who organize what we call the Rolex Festival. Narobo, the man is called Narobo Jonathan. He also came by the to my stall and he gave me, they donated to me a packet of chapati, of flour. It was I think it was a carton, and they also gave me a gas. So they decided to also come and visit my initiative, which was the Initiative for Teachers Advocacy. When they visited us, they told us they will give us training if teachers are also interested in beginning up this chapati stall to also make Rolex. And of recent, last week we were tasked to list down the number of teachers who are interested, and whereby the 74 teachers are interested. But what they need is startup capital, and also they are promising, at least through even their partners, they are going to come back and see how can they teach these 74 teachers, and if possible, they would also try to see what they can find in their means to give us some capital to have those chapati stalls. So that is how far we have gone. And even you sent me Mr. Mukasa. Yes, Mr. Mukasa. He has also promised to come and visit my teachers and at least train us in making cakes, train us in making cookies. And I think there is a brighter future in our initiative.
I really, really have to commend you. This sounds like something phenomenal you've managed.
That is how far we have gone, and we look at.
You've managed to empower.
Yeah, and I believe in the power of coming together.
Of course. Of course. And of course, no person is an island in such a situation. It's hard for you to know how to stand on your own. You've made it easier. I thank you so much for your transparency, even to say that initially you had started it off sort of as open arms to whoever's willing to give and completely changed it monumentally, even in people's minds and the teachers themselves, to be able to provide for themselves. I believe the phrase is, if you give a man a fish, you'll go hungry the next day, but if you teach a man to fish, you'll never be hungry again. I really do think that that's exactly what you're doing in this situation, and I can't wait for the audience to be able to ask you their questions as well. I'm sure they too are really astounded by the work that you're doing in your region right now. I would love to, thank you so much for sharing. I would love to move on and allow Teacher Joaria, as I had introduced earlier, to be able to share with us. For those that had not come in at this time and not heard my introduction of Teacher Joaria earlier on, I also introduced Teacher Joaria as just that, a teacher, but she's so much more than that. Joaria Naiga is a mother of 3, of course, a teacher by profession. She works at Mother Care Preparatory School, and she's now a turned entrepreneur with what she's going to share with us a little bit more. She's very, very, very family oriented, and she loves her friends, her community of teachers and colleagues as well. She enjoys swimming, traveling, and spending time with God through prayer and her words. As we can see, a very special Eid al-Adha Mubarak to you, Teacher Joaria, and we're so grateful that you're even able to join us at all on such an auspicious day. I'm going to unmute you, and when I do, please feel free to come in and let us know your story in your own words. Ooh, we cannot hear you. You're still muted, Teacher Joaria. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, Jemima.
Hello, Teacher Joaria.
Hello.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm in the celebrations, but I tried to spare for you some time as well.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay.
We are so grateful.
All right. All right. As mentioned
Even
before, you've already given them my short profile. Okay. Yeah, thank you,
yes.
Jemima, for giving me this opportunity to express myself on behalf of Mother Care teachers and other teachers in Uganda as well, as far as COVID-19 is concerned. I'm Naiga Joeria, as Jemima told you before, a teacher who teaches at Mother Care Preparatory School, Bunamwaya. I like
Oh, wow. The audio. Teacher Joy, I believe we're losing you a bit. Oh,
Can
oh,
you
with
hear
us.
me, Jemima? Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Can you hear me, please? All right,
Yes,
Jemima.
ma'am.
So as my boss, Teacher Dina, told me about this icon group, I was so happy and I did not hesitate. I liked it. Then eventually, Mrs. Serada called me. She asked me more about what I'm doing now, how I have managed the COVID situation. Then I narrated that story as I'm going to narrate it now, okay?
Yes, please.
As we were stopped schooling in March 20th, we knew that the schools will be open as soon as possible, which wasn't the case. We were given our salary, full salary of March. Then when it reached April time, the life was going on well by that time. In March, we were going on well. April began when we were still having some coming behind. Life was going on well. Then when we reached March, at the end of March, our bosses gave us half of our salaries, 50% of what we were supposed to get. So when I got that money before withdrawing it from the bank, I had to sit and plan because the president had communicated before that no one is going to. Hello, Jemima. Yes, hello.
Yes, Teacher Joy, I can hear you.
I'm off a bit. Okay. Now after that, as we heard from president saying, communicating that lockdown, we first went through the 25, 21 days, then 14 days. So lockdown became lockdown. Then I had to sit down and I think for plan B, because I have a family of, as mentioned, of three, and I have some other kids whom I'm taking care of. So I had to stand as a woman, as a strong woman. So one day, as I was going, we have a market where we shop things. Then I went there. But when I reached there, I found my friend Janet selling in the market. I admired her and I called her. I asked her, Janet, how did you begin? How did you do this? How expensive is it to begin here? Janet wasn't a bad person to me. She told me, Joe, if you want a store, let me take you to the chairman of the market. That's what she did. She took me there. I took the chairman. I bargained because chairman was asking for 95,000. Yet I didn't have that much. I had 65,000 by that time. When I went back, I told my friend, the neighbor to me where I reside there. I told her that, now do you know what? I've got a plan of working in the market. We are going to go and see the chairperson. We did that. And I told her, me as Jory, I don't have enough capital because I had used some money to make some shopping at home. I had remained with some 100,000, okay? Then my friend told me we are going to go there. It was Tuesday, we wake up in the morning, we prayed ourselves and we went there. We met the chairperson. We took the money because we gave him 25,000 for the membership. And we bargained. It was 65. We gave him 30,000. He agreed because since it's a new market, they were still looking for the people to work there. That's the opportunity we got. So that friend of mine is Nakaba's Rachel. That's my business partner. Because we began together, I feared to put my money in that group in the market, as I didn't have any idea about working anywhere apart from going to school and teach children. Jemima, do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Now we began. By that time, remember, the transport was so bad. We couldn't get a taxi to take us. We don't have a car. And the cars, by that time, cars were still in a quarantine. So what we did, after paying that money and they showed us where to work from, we went home. And I told my friend Rachel, my business partner, that let us raise 50, and we get to 100 so that we go and we get some items from Owino Market. The following day, we woke up early in the morning it was as early as 5:30 a.m. We walked to the market. We walked to the market, Owino Market, from Budnamoya to Owino Market. When we reached Owino Market, it rained. We had to look for shades where we can stand up when it stops, and we continue. So we reached there. Things were expensive. We couldn't manage to buy many things as we wished. So we took tomatoes, we took some aubergine, we took green pepper, and some onions. They were somehow few, according to the money we had. We had 100,000. Okay. Then when we got a border to drive them to the market, to ride them to the market, so that we walked back to the market. But that day, my dear Jemima, what I had, what I felt, I didn't like it. But I said that I have to work. These people who are working here were also born like me. I have to work. I encouraged my friend Rachel, let us work so that our kids get what to eat. We don't have any plan of going to school. The government is increasing day by day. Quarantine is like quarantine, this work. So when we reached, the items reached earlier than us because we go over border and we walked back to the market. When we reached the market, that day we took even a box of mangoes. So the customers were many on mangoes because they were good. We selected good items. And we sold for 2 days. Mangoes were over, and we got some profits. Like we got 7,000 of the profits. The capital, we got the money we bought, and we got a profit of 7,000. We were so happy with Rachel. I reached home. I was so happy. Although we did not sell other items, they were there, but people bought mangoes so much. So we decided to be bringing mangoes and some other items. We sold the mangoes. We went back after 2 days. We picked some mangoes. And after that, we got a customer for mangoes who could supply us. We could send a border and he sends us. So to cut the story short, these things we sold, we bought, other things we bought, they didn't go on well. The tomatoes rot, the green peppers rot, and we were some a bit disappointed. And I told Rachel, if these ones have gone like this, let us insist on mangoes. Then we sold our mangoes, and we got a plan of getting raw beans. Okay, yeah, okay. We could get beans. We changed to beans and mangoes as well. We sold those ones. We got customers, but as you know, the challenge is there. We could bring the mangoes when most of them are damaged, and we could not, as time went on, we could not get some money. We could make losses in mangoes. So we changed from mangoes and we got a sack of cabbage. As you know, we kept on persevering. We could not give up because the moment I stood up that I'm going to work, I couldn't want to go back home at any time, at any moment that I sit home. I could continue putting in the money because I had saved my money. As you know, teachers, we always save some money. I had saved my command. I could withdraw it on. My partner reached an extent of saying that, Joya, for me, I'm no longer having some money to put in this business. Nemugama, don't mind. I'll be putting in the money I have, as you also struggle to get, because if we don't put in, we are not going to stand. Because at times items brought, we don't get the item. We don't get profits, but we get losses. Okay. Yeah, we persevered up to when we reached the extent of, and now where now we reach our next, there, from there, we worked as you saw me, as you came there, as you saw me, we are there, we are still working. But my partner, hello,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So Jemima, that is the story. Do you
Thank
have?
you so much for sharing. Of course, I have some questions for you really quickly. And of course, just to be conscious of time, I'll allow for majority of the questions to be asked by the people that are watching us here today. You did explicitly mention so many challenges that you underwent, be it lockdown rules within themselves. There was no transport, so you walked. There's weather troubles. Of course, now seeing economically with your own eyes how lockdown was affecting other people and their ability to also purchase at their own will, be it fruits. Of course, the marketplace is such a boisterous, very busy area, and so there's other people doing the same thing as well. And in itself, competition doesn't necessarily help. And it's so unfortunate that you faced all of these challenges, but I'm more so proud, so to speak, of the way that you handled both them and yourself within them, and overcame them. You did mention that you got connected to what you're doing through other teachers that are doing the very same thing, so other teachers that are also in the marketplace, which goes to show that your teacher colleagues are just doing quite the same, you know, finding other streams of income and keeping themselves afloat and connecting their friends, which is amazing. Just like with the Farmers Coalition, a sort of informal coalition formed amongst friends to make sure that everyone is able to provide for their family, which I really, really loved. Before I end your segment, I really wanted to know, what support have you received from your employer outside of you being not called back into work, obviously, if any at all? And how has this specific opportunity that presented you made life easy for you and family?
Hello, Jemima.
Yes, ma'am. Did you hear
Can
me?
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
I can.
You've talked about bring my friends, bring them closer to the market. What I did. Hello, Jemima.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
can hear you. Did you
All
hear my
right.
question?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now, my
Okay.
friends, we worked for some weeks. Our friends, the neighboring friends, admired the way we done the work, and they asked us how we do it. There is one Prosi, you saw Prosi there, who sells beans. She came to my home and asked me, how did you do it, Joeria? I told her the story. So I had also to get her, and I got her and I took her to the chairperson of the market. So when we reached there, she also got a stall. Then from Prosi also has a partner, a business partner. We got another one called Amoni, the Agaba Amon. Also came to me. I also did the same. There is even another one, Teacher Moyo Bernard gave me the cousins, and I took them to the market. I showed them how we get items from the market, and they also joined there. There are also other teachers. There are about 10 teachers. Jemima, I think I took you there, and I
Yes, you
showed
did.
them.
I'm very happy to know that, like I said, a
Now,
sort of informal coalition that was formed. I don't want to take up too much of everybody else's time, so I will allow the audience to just have their questions ready for you, and any other questions that they have for you, they'll be able to ask during our discussion session. I'm going to go ahead and mute you once again. Thank you so much, Teacher Joria, for sharing. It's such a wonderful thing that you're doing. up next, this is actually very, very beautiful because we have a teacher turned entrepreneur and a woman at that. Our next speaker is going to be Professor Maggie Chigozie, who is the chairperson for ICON, a leading business and professional woman herself, a very strong advocate for family businesses. And in her own words, she believes that entrepreneurs should think of ways in which to sustain their businesses, even in their absence. But more specifically so, today we're going to invite her with us to be able to talk about more so women in business and how, of course, her experience has been and any recommendations she has. Professor Chigozie, wow, you're unmuted already. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Jemima. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, very clearly.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, first of all, want to thank you, Jemima, for coordinating this really well. And I want to thank ICON. This is such an important topic. We have a pandemic in the country that has turned our lives, all of us, upside down, but some more than others. And really teachers, school owners, much, much more than others. These are our role models. You know, the teacher, when a teacher walks into a room, have you ever seen even children as old as 50 years saying that was my teacher and getting so excited and running along to say hello? So our teachers have that respect. So for us as people to see them struggling at this time is really very, very sad. And I am so glad that both my relative there, the Fumbe clan, Mr. Luwama, and also Joweria, are coming up with solutions and really trying to live their lives. To take you back a little bit in history, schools in our time used to be run by government. It came up as an initiative that let us attract private investors, both domestic investors and foreign investors, because Uganda was looked at, we had Makerere. Makerere gave us the thing about being a center of excellence for education, together with the other schools that we already had. So we had that image and we built on it and we attracted. We have over 50 universities. We have 60% of education is provided by private sector. These are business people running schools. So we took this and we ran with it and we were doing so well. They were growing, they were expanding. And now what has happened is, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You hear me? Okay, I will continue. I don't see you anymore. So we started running with it. Then the pandemic came. Our companies, our businesses were expanding, they were diversifying, they were going into different products. The government schools as well were trying to renovate. And so we, as a sector, it was doing well. Of course, we have too many children. So, you know, the population is really high of children that need education. So pandemic comes along, disaster, really, really a disaster for the sector. The schools are closed overnight. You heard from Joweria, she was paid in March, half in April, and then no more. And yet she is a family, she has a family to run. She's not alone, and even if she was alone, it's a problem. So what comes out of this? First of all, did we have savings? Did we have savings before? As Ugandans, I think we are learning. Difficult. Joweria, I'm so pleased to hear that you actually had some savings. But most of us, most Ugandans do live from, you know, month to month. We've already spent the money. The school owners themselves had already borrowed immensely huge amounts of money to put up those beautiful universities you see, and the schools that we see all over the country. So they have a problem. They cannot help the students. So I am glad the teachers are standing up and looking for alternatives. Going forward, we have learned. I think going forward, you will hear from Mr. Matama, you will hear about family business, you will hear about diversifying, never depending on just one income stream. I'm a teacher, I will get my salary. We have learned better. I am a school owner, I will get my students. I think we have now learned better that that may not happen. So what businesses, now that the teachers are really stuck, we have seen two examples of people who are trying to survive. One has gone into the market, the other one is doing snacks. So those are two alternatives. But remember, there were other people already in those areas. They were market women, very, very experienced, that Joeria and her friend are having to compete against. The chapati Rolex makers were already there. So it is not an easy place to break into as now a teacher who doesn't even know how to run business. And you are coming in to compete with these people who have been doing it for so long. Yes, I am happy. One thing that came out from the earlier presentations, partnerships. That is another thing Ugandans have hated. We don't trust one another. But Joeria, I want to give you just some idea on how to manage the partnership. Always write down. If you, Joeria, have put in money, your partner has not, then that makes you two different, shareholders in that company, and you expect maybe more. So those are the kinds of things that cause our partnerships to break up. Do not leave it, just like that, but try and write down how much you've put in, how much your partners put in, and then how the business will go forward. And as it goes forward, how do you divide the profits with your partner? The same thing, Mr. Rubwama talked about the circles. And yes, we have seen circles enabling teacher groups to survive. It is such a wonderful thing that government had pushed for circles in so many areas. And we now have groups that have come in this difficult time. I think I saw people making tiles. I saw people going into other businesses together as a circles. I saw you being able to borrow from your circles where you were putting money. So it is actually a very, very brilliant concept that is helping us to survive at this time. But what can you invest in? Anybody who has land as agriculture, we are continuing to believe we have to feed the country. Right now, the prices are low. You are not able to sell matoke except very cheaply. You are not able to sell eggs at one point. It's getting better now. So agriculture looks a bit worrying right now. The prices of coffee are not very good, but we believe, truly believe, Uganda has an advantage for agriculture. So you, Joeria, Mr. Rubwama, I don't know where you live, but if you have any piece of land around you, even the small garden, we can do urban farming. Go visit KCCA at Chanja and see what you can do on your walls, on your veranda. You can still grow the food, at least the food you eat, and maybe even commercialize. There's a lady called Dr. Emma Narima on Entebbe Road. She has 2 acres of land and she makes millions of shillings. So can we look at that? So you don't need huge tracts of land to be able to go into agriculture. The other areas like tourism were hurt just as badly as education was. But of course, with those 2 sectors, they're coming back. So we shouldn't be too depressed. As soon as we can handle COVID, as soon as some treatment comes up, we should be able to move with those 2 sectors again. But for today, trade is working. People still need goods. ICT, information communication technology, if that is your area, And if it is not, it is very easy to learn. If you have an Android phone, you're okay, you can do your work. So can you look at that? Anything you don't know, you can learn. This is an opportunity to be skilled. Let's take it as the opportunity that you need to skill yourself and be able to begin thinking of the other businesses that you can do. Jemima, can I stop there? I thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm really happy to hear from the teachers themselves and not from us, the technocrats. But we as ICON plan to continue to work with the teachers. We are very keen to have good families, and we know the teachers are the ones that support all our children everywhere at every stage of their lives until they grow up. So if they themselves are not having good families, then how are they handling our children? So we are very glad as ICON that we have held this session, and we plan to continue working with teachers in Uganda to improve their lives. Thank you very much. And thank you, Debbie, too, for organizing this.
Thank you very much, Professor Sikazi. We really do appreciate you sharing a few words with us. I'm pretty sure some people will have a couple of questions for you at the end. But until then, thank you so much for sharing with us. It's funny that you already went ahead and inadvertently introduced our next panelist. Our next panelist is also someone who works very closely with ICON. He is he's a department procurement and logistics management head at Makerere University Business School, as well as the author of the book Family Business Governance, who believes in his own words that the business incubation instilled into family members right from early ages shall enable businesses to reach the finish line. Dr. Rogers Matama is also the CEO of Lucky Family Business Limited and is a family business specialist and advisor for family-owned businesses. Without further ado, I'd love to welcome Dr. Rogers Matama. You're most welcome into this panel. We're happy to have you and would love to hear a little bit more of what you believe right now, given the current climate seems to be working well, what is not working well, and how can teachers as families sustain their family businesses in a COVID-19 era? You're most welcome.
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Matama.
Jemima. I am happy that you're doing very well so far. I've been monitoring you right from the startup to the moment. I also would like to congratulate the heroes, the teacher heroes. The teacher heroes, we really need to clap for you. You've done great. That is very nice. Because whereas your counterparts have switched off, they have put their mindsets into negativity, you decided to take on the positive angle of doing things. And to me, I think that is one of the core attributes that we should celebrate today, especially for Joweria and Rubwama. I know there are so many others who are not even in this forum, but we need to appreciate the fact that there is something. But also, I would like to thank ICON. ICON, I think this is very good. There are very few organizations that have come up with this kind of initiative. I know Debbie tried to follow up with me. I've been too busy, but she insisted, and I said it's okay. Actually, they used the name Maggie Chigozi as recommended, and I'm happy that Chairperson, you've appreciated my presence, and I'm very, very happy, Madam Maggie Chigozi. First of all, why did I accept? Besides being too busy, I said no. I should accept because, first of all, in June, I was requested by the International Council for Small Businesses to talk about what should families do and how should they sustain during this COVID pandemic. Actually, I would request some of you, I see we are 19 participants, if you can write this in your notes. If you can get time, you can go to YouTube, you'll see my presentation. You just go to YouTube, say family sustainability, family business sustainability. you'll see everything about my presentation. And I'm happy. When you watch that, you'll see a number of things. But let me contextualize this work in regards to the teachers. In that presentation, I indicated that the OECD indicated that it might take 2 years for us to go to the same direction that the end of year 2019 was seeing economically. Now, what do we take out of that? If it might take 2 years for us in case COVID stops, if it might take 2 years for us to come back on path, what does it mean? It means a number of things are already in disequilibrium. Now, ladies like Naiga, gentlemen like Rubama, the fact that you've taken on the disequilibrium and taken on very fast, you'll be much, much faster than the ones who have not started. I know when there is disequilibrium, there are those ones who will say, me, I'm finished. There are others who will say, things are now ending. The others who say, now I don't know. But you know, because of the love of family, we now go and adjust. I was listening in carefully, and I coined something here. One person was looking for what to eat. Now, imagine there is a shift now. Instead of looking for what to teach, you are now looking for what to eat. It's something very interesting and very, very fundamental now. Economically, there is something there. You are no longer a teacher, you are now shifting into survival. Now, more so when you have the children, you know you love children and you know it's your responsibility. Now, whether you have a salary or not, they have to eat. They will not understand. Daddy, you have not worked. For them, they will say, Daddy, today you didn't bring this. Today you didn't do this. Now, I'm happy that Rubwama indicated a lot of progress. And I also discover, you know, this is what happens. He clearly said that he wanted people to have sympathy and join in. Instead, they just came in with this and what, and they started. So the dimension and which he was requesting for, it wasn't what he got, but at least he got something. And now you are not surprised that he's the chair of a number of initiatives, similar to Naiga. And one thing that you notice with them, which also has been hinted by the chairman of ICON, the chairperson of ICON, the power of networks. Have you noticed that these people have linked to their friends? I was writing, I saw Rachel, I saw Prose, I saw Amon, I saw a number of them by Joelia. Now, Rubwama indicated one for sugarcane, another one for chapati, many people, even including some of the products of his, the ones who had 16 points. Now, as I was listening in, I drew a spider web, whereby now it comes back to the original settings. Under too much tension, you always think of who is who will help you. And it is now that you are seeing who is helping who. If you noticed, most of the participants who are here, no one was paid to come and give a presentation. 18 are online, they are talking. They are volunteering to share. Now, most people who will always succeed and will always make progress, whether it is at family level, whether it is at government level, whether it is at farm level, they are not always many. You'll find there are 2 or 3 or even 1. And I always tell this, it's like a generator. You find in a setting, you are the only person. And I'm sure Rubwama and Joelia, when you are moving, people said, no, you cannot. You cannot do it. You are a teacher. How can you just go in front and start carrying mangoes or tomatoes? What will happen with chapati? Actually, the first time I heard of Rubwama was from a neighbor's child who was talking about, we saw a teacher is saying chapati, the child has not done one. So you could hear the way in which public is interpreting. Now, what do we do? What is the way forward? The situation is there. We have seen people have started the issues of going to the market and what. And I had the chairperson icon indicating that we could even stretch further. We could even go to the ICT territory, where there is another question, and this question is always there. By the way, even if they're in normal situations, you always hear people say, I don't have capital. I don't have capital. I don't have capital. It is common, actually, even in normal situations. I am telling you this because I have a PhD in capital issues. So, and that's why they even say sometimes capital is epistemological. It is in the mind. Now, if you noticed, Rugwama mobilized himself and mobilized his people, and they moved together. The same with Naiga, with the Prose and Rachel. First with Rachel, then go to Prose, then go to Ammon. But now I want to tell you something from me, from the angle of family and family orientation and family business. There is a tendency of the partner, your husband or your wife, even uncle, even grandfather, sometimes resisting that partnership. You are going with the Prose, is going to teach you bad things. You are Joeria, you say, Inshallah, now Prose is a Christian. What is this? So now we need to first appreciate the fact that we are looking for what to eat, and we have to use our social capital. And that social capital, those are the friends. The friends that we have will be very, very important. If Debbie didn't know me and didn't also get links from Maggie, they wouldn't have linked me to Icon today. So it is just the power of friendship now. And this is where we're going to be checked. In my presentation, which you will see on YouTube, I indicated that whereas the PwC did, the PricewaterhouseCoopers did the research and indicated that there is going to be need for high level of adaptation, I indicated that families are very, very keen and they're going to adapt faster. And this is why I said so. Within a family, if you are very organized, by the way, you can have a family which is disorganized. Even the small matoke that you have, it is being mishandled. Even the small tomatoes, the 1 kilo of tomatoes, it is being mishandled. So if that family is sorted, the smallness that you have will help. And that's where now we're going to say we can adapt faster as family, because we can agree if we've been eating a loaf for maybe a day, it can maybe we can go to the smaller loaf, or we can even boil whatever we can boil, maybe sweet potatoes and what. I was in Tanzania, that's what they eat in the morning, sweet potatoes, boiled sweet potatoes. But you can see here, it's like we are in Europe, we bread. So we need to appreciate the fact that there's going to be need for mindset change. And this mindset change is important. Why? We are now going to shift into the mode of innovation, to think deeply. Now, these people who have, for instance, established the pavers, I hear there are people in Shema who have decided to start selling in Barara area in Western. They have started selling the confectionaries, the gin nuts and what. And by the way, the beauty with teachers, they are actually moving very fast to pull friends and other colleagues to move very fast. Actually, it's not only backward, it is even forward integration. You can even see that Rwama goes, even the children who graduated, who finished primary, who finished their schooling, they are now joined in. Now, because anyway, teachers, because I also work, I disseminate knowledge at university level, you will always have that capacity to pull people together because you are gifted. So let no one abuse you that you are doing this, or you are selling that, or you are selling sugarcane by the corner of the road. No. If they laugh, first tell them to give you food for just serving your people at home. Now, but it doesn't stop at that. We need to appreciate the fact that we need to scratch a little bit deeper into our thinking. Yes, if you've been selling things, I know Maggie, the chairperson, recently volunteered also to present something, a new CD, and I was very happy. She shared a lot, and you can even see she's hinting about agriculture. And I'm so happy, even on the chatting, I'm seeing some of the teachers actually commenting and appreciating my work. And this is now the beginning of the dialogue. You know, even to have the mindset settled, it's very, very important. So we need to understand, yes, before the COVID, what were we doing? That's how you see Maggie asking, did we save? And that's why Joelia is being celebrated for having had something. And of course, my PhD is on savings and frugal behavior. And I discovered that in most of the East African nations, we having small savings. We have a lot of instant gratification other than delayed gratification. And in so doing, we find ourselves on savings going very low. So as I finish off, I know, Jemima, you might not be happy that I'm taking more time. As I finish off, I would like to tell you the way forward. During this time, I've hinted mindset. First of all, the mindset. First of all, not to be the one to carry the news. We are dead. We are finished. We are dead. Well, look into the issue of having your mask on, sanitize every other time, use basic and cheaper ones. If others who have a lot of money are buying sanitizers for maybe 50,000, use basics, maybe get Omo, get water, get whatever basics. Make sure that, because at the end of the day, even the children, if they are sick, you have a problem. Then within that territory, also appreciate the fact that government is now coming in. I heard the president actually donating some billions, which is very nice. But this is a warning to the teachers. If you're not sorted, now, for instance, the Joelia team, the Rubwama team, the Shema group, the Sanji group, they're already sorted. And therefore, they are going to be quick to benefit. But those ones who are not sorted are likely to have problems because they will get confused. Maybe their chairpersons are not organized and all that. So sort yourselves out, move on very well, shift very well, maintain friendship. But remember, after COVID, still you have to go to teach. So don't be like people are saying, I may have given up. Me, I will never go. No, just go for what you were moving on, because it is a competence-based issue. You already have the competence in teaching, and perhaps you might even be a more bigger hero when you convey what you went through. Maybe we might be even coming up with new documentaries, maybe coming up with books about that, because these are experiences that will move on and will guide you. As I conclude, I would like to tell you that business is not simple, and therefore don't rush for anything. Don't see people carrying tomatoes. And of recent, I've seen tomatoes becoming very, very cheap, and even people who are dealing in them getting problems. Just study the situation. If someone is dealing with tomatoes, what can you do? Just try to dig deeper. Then some of you also go back to seeing what can you do. Your friends, maybe your school, and also befriend your school owners. Don't talk to the school owners badly, because they are also in problems. They're in problems. They have to get funding. They have to do what? So keep a link with them. It's important, because soon, perhaps if we open up, if maybe they open up in September, still you have to go back. But how do you go back? Some of the people already abusing each other, struggling with life at home, hiding away. You cannot hide away from your own assignment that you should do. So I thank you, Jemima. I thank Icon. I thank Debbie. I thank all the stakeholders, especially the teachers who have made it on a big day like this. I very, very appreciate the fact that all the members have been in position to dedicate time to deliberate and to learn. I've also been learning. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for sharing with us today. We are so happy to have you here. Very honored that you could take out time. As you said, you are a very busy person, but your insight is more than obviously self-explanatory. It's amazing that you paid so much attention to all these people's stories, and you were able to apply that to the work that you're doing right now, that you continue to do with people and family businesses. As he mentioned, if you would love to see more of his work, please head over to YouTube and look for him. Dr. Rogers Matama is the name. And of course, questions coming very, very soon. But before questions, there's two very special people that I would love for us to hear from. Obviously, the teachers have families. And as Icon, we're very family oriented. We look at the family, not just what it has to offer to society, but as a whole unit. And as part of a family unit, children play a very vital part into that. because in Teacher Doria's case, it's the reason why she was pushed forward to even start her entrepreneurial journey, to be able to sustain not just herself, but her children, but also just work in partnership with her children to sustain her home. And so today with us, we have two very special guests, two children who are both from different parts of different families, of course, but different sides of the coin. One is a student and the other is a child of a teacher. And so first we're going to hear from someone we have with us today, Brenda Nyakasiki. She is a student at Entebbe Comprehensive Secondary School in Senior 5 studying arts. She is passionate about activism for women and children's rights, and she hopes to weave her career in this path as well. She also aspires to become an author, just like Dr. Matama is. But without further ado, I'd love for us to welcome Brenda to come and tell us her story and also how this period has been. Brenda, I'm going to unmute your mic since you don't want to let me know.
Okay, Jemima, thank you so
Welcome,
much.
Brenda.
Okay, I would like to thank the organization for this opportunity, because I think this is the biggest platform in my life I've ever been to. I'm so honored and grateful to be one of the chosen ones to be on this platform. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mm.
You're most welcome. I really just want for you to briefly tell us your experience, but not necessarily in length. I would love to know more so what changes have you seen at home since everything happened, and obviously what changes in school and that environment, and how that has helped shift your mindset towards what that's going to look like in the future for you.
Jemima, your network wasn't well. Can you please repeat the question for me?
My question was, well, there was two questions. The first question was, what changes have you seen at home so far? Please let us know. Ever since.
Oh, okay, I think I'll start with that. Changes at home. Okay, like me as also a child in a family of 7 siblings and my mom and dad. I think that's a family of 10 people. So I'm the fifth born in the family, and doesn't work. So it's only our dad. Oh, okay. Our main source of income and all that is our dad. We mostly depend on our dad on everything. So there have been like things have not been easy at all. As Mr. Matama said, that those days for you go for a goal for breakfast. You know how things are. No spoiling.
Oh, your mic got muted. All right. Brenda, we cannot hear you. Will you try and unmute your microphone? All right. Oh, wow. All right, there you are.
Can you hear? Okay.
Yes. Please continue.
Sorry for that. As I mentioned that my dad is the source of income at home and is the only person we depend on. It has been very difficult for us. You know, a family of 7 children. He has to provide to each one of us, and also most of my siblings are girls, has to provide each and everything to us, our mom and everything. So it has been very difficult for us since the time they closed up this thing. Okay, like COVID-19 started, like on the side of the, can I say, the feeding side, things have been not good at all. Because I come from a humble family, you have to cut out some of your meals, yeah, to be like, and you also have to understand the parents for that. Because I know if things will be better, my dad will provide more. But now things are not that well. I know that's what he can provide. He does his best, no matter how things are hard. And even like, how things are there. Like, we have been at school. Most times, like most cases, we have been spending more times at school with our teachers, our friends. Yeah, like at home, there's that indifferences at home in the families. Not all the time I've been with my mom or my dad. So when you come back to, like, right now we are home, like our entire family, mom, dad, we interact with each other in that way. We have some indifferences, like, as people. So we end up, like, most cases, getting into arguments with our parents, how we teenagers can be, and all that stuff. Yeah. So it has been very disturbing anyway. Yeah, like, I don't know. But things have not been good. So mom says this, you want the things to be this. This has to be that. Like, how we teenagers do act. So on that side, and also on our side, okay, when I talk about my family as well, um, even in parents, okay, as them parents, like, my mom is used to the way that my dad provides everything. She was used to the way that everything was good back then, but now things are hard. She's not used to those things, like, okay, that hardship style, you get. She wants the thing to be like, okay, but I don't know, like, those arguments within the parents, they knock us out. So it's very hard for us as children. So that's my experience in this COVID-19 about my family. So what was the other question, Jemima?
The question was also how you feel things can be better, because I know you said your mother is very used to your father being the sole provider, but now he's not able to provide as easily
How?
as no, and I'm not quite sure. As someone who's observing your own household, would you recommend she also dive into family business, or it's a conversation that should arise within your home as well? What would your
The
recommendation be to
network,
make it
the
better?
network.
Can you hear me, Brenda?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Can you hear me?
How? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can hear, but the network is not good. But okay, let me answer what I've had. Okay, like,
Okay.
how we have managed to move on, like, me as a child in the family. Because I had some friend of mine, like, in my vacation, because I'm a Form 5 member. In my vacation for Form 4, was working at my auntie's place. She taught me how to do crochets, but I used to make donuts by then. So in this COVID period, there's a friend of mine who got this idea. She's called Hilda. We got this idea from an educate group at school of how to make different types of crochets in clothes, donuts, what and what, many things like that. So when I come up with this idea, I decided to partner up with her, and her mom is very used to stockings and all other stuff. So I partnered up with those people. Um, I started up, we started making donuts, we started making crochets, clothes, stockings for babies and other stuff, bags for ladies and other stuff. So when I got that idea, I went to my mom. I had a word with her and told her.
Oh wow, we keep losing
It's
you.
very good, and she was so interested that I can teach her also how to make donuts.
Okay.
Like my mom was also interested in it, so she told me that I should teach her how to make donuts so that she can help me to ease the work. So I went to my dad as well because we are living the family. I went to my dad as well and asked for some little money to aid me in starting up that small enterprise with me and my dad. I told him the whole story, and he was so pleased that I was interested in in this thing, and he gave me okay, like at the start I had my threads, what and what, my crochet needle. So he gave me a small capital to set up, to buy more threads, and also got some support from my auntie. She used to get me customers the market, so she used to market my things online because I don't have an online phone, like smartphones. So my aunt helped me to market my stuff, and my elder sisters, my mom, she could help me on making donuts. My friend Hilda there teaching me other stuff.
Indeed.
We have been like, that's how we have tried to manage these things. So that's why I can't go back to my dad to ask each and everything from him. As we girls out, just can't go ask each and everything. Life is not easy, but we have to keep on moving on. We have to struggle. Yeah. But and
That's
by that
awesome.
all,
Very amazing that you did that.
sorry.
That's awesome. Like you've inadvertently answered my question. Thank you. Basically you recommended a family business to your family and ended up looping your mom in. I will allow for people to be able to ask questions in just a minute. Thank you so much, Brenda. Please be on the lookout. People, I'm sure, will want to hear more from you. Thank you very much for sharing. Our next guest is our one and only friend, Imran. He's an 11-year-old primary 6 student who journeyed with his mother, teacher Joeria, through her transition into an entrepreneur. He too has played a part in contributing to their family unit as the oldest of all of teacher Joeria's children. He's had to rise to the occasion for both his siblings and his mother's sake. Imran loves to cook, to whom he credits, and he loves to play with his friends as well as read. I would love to welcome Imran to be able to give us a short reflection on what it's like to be a teacher's child during this COVID-19 pandemic. Not quite sure if Imran is with us. All right. So he may not be able to. Okay. I believe their connectivity is not stable. No, we shall allow for everybody to be able to ask our panelists some questions. Before I do that, I would like to thank all our panelists for sharing with us today. It's wonderful stories that you guys have shared with us today. You guys are doing amazing, amazing work in your communities and outside of them as well. You're being very intentional with your families, irrespective of gender or age, as Brenda has come to show us. And I would like to open the floor up now for questions. Once again, let's please be respectful in the way we do so and be concise as well to be able to allow other people to ask questions. And everyone has a chance to speak or get responded to. You can either write your questions in the comment section on Facebook or in the chat section in the Zoom if you're present in the Zoom. More particularly, you can type ask in the chat and I shall unmute you so you can verbally ask your question. Once again, please keep it short. Direct it towards someone specific, and then they will be sure to answer your question as well. All right. So just started. All right, so you can go ahead and raise hands as well. That is an option if you'd like to raise your hand. So if you have any questions, any observations, any concerns, oh wow, okay, so we have someone here. We have Mwesije Joram, Libertarian. Okay, Joram.
Hello, you can hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I'm Mwesige Joram, Libertarian. I run a think tank called Action for Liberty and Economic Development, ALED in short. This is a wonderful platform. It is inspiring. It is generating thinking and actually what the community should drive with after post-COVID. COVID-19 has been a very wonderful experience. It has come with opportunities and a disequilibrium, as Roger put it. So it gave people opportunity to innovate. That is one. Then it gave people chance to have a reflection of something else to do as an alternative. As Mr. Guam has said, Mr. Guam is my colleague. He's intending to run as MP, and by the way, he did not tell you that. So it gave people an opportunity to look at the alternative stream of income. That is a very powerful. The aggregate of that has helped the government to look at the inward-looking strategy of production. That one goes from family level to a national level. The government recently was proud that now we can produce some of the things for ourselves as a country, which saves money for the country in terms of voting. And that's why even the government was implementing, like, let us slap a tax on import from, you get. So the people realized what else should we do? And actually, post-COVID will be a better, actually, economically, people will be a bit better because people have opened their eyes, innovate, using all the skills they have. Of course, my company has been running backyard gardening. We have helped some families with seeds, teaching them with skill how to grow using a small piece of land at the veranda and everywhere. So people have gotten, actually, it has been an opportunity. More, okay, it's not it was a blessing in this case somehow, if I'm saying. As I conclude, this platform should go on, should actually, if it can be connected and invite more other people so that people can continue spreading, challenging each other and see a way forward. Thank you very much. And
thank you very much, Mr. Mwesije Joram, Libertarian. Thank you very much for your observations of the panel. That I really do appreciate. It's people like you who've been tuning in and are able to give us their takeaways, their highlights, what they believe is very important. It's really why we do this, to be able to not only just spread awareness, but as he said, also share a platform, a comfortable platform for people to share their experiences and have a chance to also generate recommendations for their dilemmas. Someone might be watching and might be able to find solutions. So this is awesome. I'd love to see some questions flowing in the chat. If anyone would love to ask a question verbally, all it takes is raising a hand. Go over to our Facebook page and see some questions there as well.
Can I ask a question, Jemima?
Yes, ma'am, you may. Yes.
Mine is to Jemima. Mine is about business now, family business. We have seen examples there where the young student is going in with her mom and could you say a few things about family business? I myself have 3 children. I've involved them in everything. They're shareholders in everything. Can you talk about it? How would you handle a family business?
how would I personally handle a family business?
No, I was talking to Matama. Is he
I wasn't sure if you
still
had.
there?
Yes, he is. Dr. Matama, that question is for you.
Okay. Professor Magichigozi, I know you know most of these things, and I'm happy. Unfortunately, out of our population, very few people understand what family business is. And I'm sure that's why you're asking such a question. First of all, there's a general throwing away of this family business concept. I remember the first time I wrote my first book in 2005. There was a lot of talk. What family? How can they survive? How will they move on? But you can now notice, even at the lowest level, Joeli has just indicated to us that they are engaging. You saw Wama saying the family members are also helping. If you noticed in the whole world, look at Samsung, the phones that you like. Look at everything Toyota, founded by Toyoda, the head of the family. All the things that we are using in this world are crafted right from home. Right from home. Good enough in our country. I am so happy that we have successes coming up so robust. Now, the issue of family engaging in business is nothing like people connecting it to being negative. It is positive, very, very positive, because it's a sure deal, because the people will come in. All we have to do is to deal with these nitty-gritties. There is this tendency of people failing to understand what a family is, by the way. Generally, people don't know what family is. They just say it has to be, it is blood relation. But I always go and take them direct to this complexity. If you looked at a father and mother, are they blood related? Jemima, can you answer me? Are they blood related?
A father and a mother? No.
Father and mother, are they blood related?
No.
Then why should you say that, my family is a blood relationship? And why should you say that the boys or the girls are the ones to be preferred? And this is what I always tell in most of these places, especially in our country. You hear Mudsha and Sons, Musoke and Sons, Sebagar and Sons. Why should you just concentrate on one sector? Why shouldn't you leave it neutral? You think Toyota was fake, not to just say and sons or and daughters. So that's the major problem. And I hope I will answer you in this. This family business issue is too complex. But the good thing, I can see people learning them. We are seeing Ugandans coming up. We are seeing even at the lowest level, people like Joelia taking it on. So enjoy it and embrace it. It's not that difficult. Yes, it is difficult when you look at it deeply, but it's okay. You can do it. I am just leaving it plain. I don't want to go to the nitty-gritties of sibling rivalry and what, Madam Chigozi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matama. Professor Chigozi, I hope he's answered your question. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But maybe to expand it a little more, we need to look at businesses that our parents already own. I see, and Rogers, I think you'll agree with this, that you see your father running a shop and you think it is too low for you. You want to start at a different level. Starting a business is difficult. So if there's a business in the family, I encourage people to join that one that's there and grow it. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you very, very much, Professor Chigozi. I believe, yes, Teacher Joy is back. And so we'll get a chance to actually hear from Imran, as I had introduced earlier. Go ahead and unmute her. Joya and
Can you see
Imran.
me, Jemima? Yes,
We
I'm
cannot,
back with Imran.
but we can hear you.
Yes.
Love to see you as well as Imran. Let's see if there you are. Good
Imran,
afternoon.
yes. Imran,
Imran.
say hi. Hi, Imran. Imran there.
Hi.
Hi, Imran. Hello.
Hi, Asuna. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Eid Mubarak, Imran. Thank you for being able to join us today and share with us. I had just
A
told
pleasure.
some of the people here that who you are and how you've been helping her as a teacher, as she's been doing her work also at the market. And I also just wanted you as teacher Jaria's son, obviously the man of the house now, to be able to share very quickly what it's been like ever since everything changed at home. Mom stopped teaching anymore. Now she's doing something else. And so how has that been for you in this time? What's it been like?
It's been good,
Really?
but mommy has taught me how to cook in this quarantine.
Yes.
Yeah, she has taught me how to be hardworking. And I do the chores at home after. I leave my sisters and brothers to play after all of them have done their chores. Then when mommy comes back, I help her with cooking the supper.
Of course.
Hello?
Of course. I can hear you. I can hear you. Continue.
Mommy wakes up very early in the morning. We don't even have time to see her. She wakes up when we are sleeping.
Oh dear.
Then after she goes. Yes, my brothers, they are here playing.
Oh wow. As they should. As they should. It's a holiday. You know, it's a
Yes.
holiday. Thank you so much, Imran, for sharing. I'm going to ask you a few more questions. I know you said you don't get to see mommy before she goes to the market anymore.
Yes.
You've learned how to cook because now you're at home. You're the oldest. You're at home with your brothers, and you also said you spearhead chores, lead chores, and make sure that everything is okay. Do you ever help mommy at the market? You know, she's taught you to be hardworking at home. Has she also showed you what it's like to work hard outside of home?
Yes.
In what
She
way?
Leaves me home.
she leaves me home. Then after I take care of my siblings.
Of course.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Jemima?
Yes,
Hello?
I can. I can hear both of you very well. I can hear both of you very well. Thank you so much.
Sometimes I help. Hello?
Yes, I can.
Jemima,
Yes,
can you hear Imran?
yes, I can.
Imran, talk.
Oh, I go sometimes at the market with her. Then after I help her. And when we come back at home, we find when these ones have already eaten food. We leave when we have cooked for them sometimes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
wow.
Then after, when they finish doing their chores, we find them playing.
As they should, you know.
Yeah. Yes, Jemima.
I can
Hello,
hear
Jemima.
you.
Yeah, that is Imran's thing. But actually, he has learned a lot because at times I leave home without preparing for them. He has to make sure that he prepares some easy food for them, okay? The challenge they have when they wake up when I have already gone. They wake up when I have already gone. At times they don't even see me. I just write the sheet and I leave it at the table. I leave it on the table for them to read and do what I've allocated them to do. Okay. So that is what they miss me. They miss me home because at times they ask me, "Mommy, why don't you get one day and you don't go dramatic so that you stay here with us?" And I always tell them that when I sit, we shall not eat. I have to go and work so that we get something to eat. So I always, I always tell them to be patient with the situation. Okay.
Which is awesome.
This,
Which is awesome. And actually, that's wonderful that you say that. Imran, I know mommy is a teacher, and now right now she's not teaching. Doesn't mean she's not a teacher.
Yes.
But
She's still a teacher.
She's still a teacher, and I love that you say that, because even Dr. Matama had said, you know, for people to be proud of their professions and not in any way feel small because they're doing something different. But even though mommy is not going to work to teach anymore, I know you told me that she teaches at home. How is that? How does that feel? Are you still able to learn at home? You know, are you still able to utilize mommy as a teacher at home?
Yes, we are still able to learn in the afternoon when she comes back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, after.
So she's still teaching, just in a
Yes,
different way.
she's still teaching us.
Okay.
In a
All right.
different way. Yes.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Imran. I am so happy that you made the time to be with us today. If anybody had any questions for Imran or any other panelists, please raise a hand, ask it in the chat, do not be shy, or in the comment section on Facebook. If no one has any more questions, I am happy to take it from there. All right. No questions? Wow. Wow. It looks like the panelists did an awesome job explaining everything and covering all the bases, if that's the case. Well, I'd like to thank the panelists once again for being able to come today on their busy schedules. We have Teacher Joya even celebrating Eid today, but still making it to share with us. We're so grateful. Eid Mubarak to you and your family and everyone celebrating today online. I would love to bid our guests farewell, and thank you so much for participating in this. For those that spoke, for those that have been active in the chat section, we are so grateful. Oh, we have one more question. Then Mrs. Sarada for us. We have Teacher Joya even celebrating Eid today, but still making it. Right. We have Mrs. Sarada over there. I don't know if she would like to ask a question, but that is the Icon Advisor, and she's been very quintessential in setting up this event and making sure everything runs smoothly. We owe a lot of our success to her. This event has been broadcast on Facebook as well. So for those that have not been able to come in from the very beginning and missed some of the panelists presenting, it's been recorded on Facebook Live. So you can always go to Icon Enterprise Foundation on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and be able to watch it back. For other people that would love to remain in touch with Icon and its works, we also have other social media where we show up as Icon, ICON__EF. So 2 underscores, it's all lowercase, and that is how we appear on Instagram and Twitter. Please feel free to follow us on all the above and reach out to us. We love interacting with you. We love knowing what you've learned. And once again, we do these events for you. So we'd love to know what best works for you and how best we're serving this community of ours. All right. And if nobody else, oh, there's a question. I apologize. All right, so there's a question on Facebook, but Unfortunately, we've run out of time. And so if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to leave them in our direct messages and we'll be sure to send them to the appropriate panelists. Thank you so much for attending our family dialogue today, and may you go in peace. Blessings.